I'm Nick and welcome to my shop. Just got this thing built out. It is fantastic. Super happy because I got my big lathe set up. I got my bandsaw set up and I can start doing bigger things. I'm super happy. The only thing is, I haven't turned anything in the shop yet. Don't know if any of this stuff works. I got power. Don't know if I have all the right parts, but that's what today's goal is going to be. Got a bowl that I roughed out initially back in December of 2020. So black walnut. My goal today is to see if I can finish this bowl. Let's get at it. So I got my stronghold chuck here. I need tailstock for this part. For here, which should be somewhere. This is always the fun part of getting a new shop. I have stuff roughly organized, but the thing is, not really. I don't know where everything's at yet. I know some stuff's still packed up. I'm working through that. What I'm doing right now is get this thing roughly centered on the lathe before I crank it down. So I'm just doing like a friction jam chuck just up against the chuck here. And I'm just gonna use the tailstock for support. It's not going anywhere. Now I got my turning tool, got my shield, so I should be good to go. But generally, I guess like what I should explain is what's actually going on here. So this is a twice turned bowl. This one was roughed out back in 2020 in December, and what it looked like is a log. Basically, this guy. This one here in my hand is freshly cut maple, but takes a long time for wood to dry. So what I do is I rough it out to just a chunky bowl basically, and then once it's fully dry and everything, pretty much turn a finished round bowl. It's actually oval shaped, so I don't know if I can see that for you. Let's see. Yeah, so see, it's hitting the tool rest here only in one spot because it is oval. It's not on exactly center, but I don't need to worry about that because there's plenty of material I'm going to remove. So let's give this thing a try. Nice. That is a lot of tear out. Oh man, that's gonna be fun. So all I did was clean up this outside edge. There's a nice hole right there. I don't know where that hole actually came from. But let's get this thing spun around. Wrong jaw size. The thing I always do is give it a spin and make sure it's running true. And it's close enough. There we go. Let's get you guys a better view here. That should be good. So yeah, now I'm just working out on the inside here. Great. Well, now you guys are in the way. Oh boy. There we go. Move it back a little. So first off, that's the issue I gotta deal with. Bug hole or something. Wow. Now that's cool. See, the bug hole goes all the way through. Oh man, that goes deep too. Got my compressed air. Let's see what this thing looks like. Wow. So that goes deep. So I guess now, as Bob Ross would say, it's a happy accident. This is a something I gotta figure out what to do with it. You can see on the back side here, looks like it goes through. So what I'm trying to figure out here is, so I could cut off and I make a bowl that's smaller, or do I fill it and make it cool looking? So I think what I'm going to do is turn this down to close the final size and see what's left of this hole, and then I'll fill it with something cool. I got some resin and stuff, so go from there. So this is a 1.5 inch deep bowl. It's about 1.5. So that means the bottom goes to only about there. I'm going to make it a little bit thinner. Because I will lose some because I'm going to make the bowl or the bottom concave. And right here. Feel right there's a ridge. And right there's a ridge. So I need to get that smoothed out, and I got all this tear out right there. So let's get this cleaned up. There are some marks left, but I think the sander will take care of that. Now the question is, what do I do? So, let's see if I can get you to see it with some good lighting here. There we go. So yeah, I got the bug hole here, got the gap there, other one here. Looks like it goes, yeah, all the way through there. Not there. I think I'm going to fill that with a color. What I did here is I mixed up some pouring resin and added copper mica powder and just used the knife to kind of like drip it into the holes, and that ended up with a pretty good result. Before I did all this, I prepped the bowl by adding a little like hot glue moat so that the epoxy would stay in the bug holes. This is so that it just didn't flow down to the bottom of the bowl. I also put some Tyvek tape on the outside so that the resin wouldn't just flow out of the bowl. Should note that resin's not great for you to be around. If you do work with the stuff, you should wear a respirator and gloves. Mica powder is just straight up stone dust, and breathing in that stuff is just not great at all for you. In the end, you end up with these little like puddles on the bowl, and any excess will get turned away. But I think it turned out fantastic. Got some of it turned away. Ow. This resin is sharp. looking really good. See, it twinkles a little bit. That still needs cleaned up, but I'm very happy with how that came out. Now it's time to hook up the dust collection system and sand this bowl smooth. So basically what I'm doing here is sanding the bowl up from 60 grit all the way to 600 grit, using a power sander here to make it go quicker. Takes a while, about an hour of this, and best way to do it is through a montage. Got a bowl here. It's a little dusty, but it's fine. This will get cleaned up when I do the bottom. Kind of ended up a little more muted, but still pretty cool. And the inside turned out pretty good. Sanded up to 600. There's some sanding marks here, but I'm just going to live with that. So yeah. Just using that paper towel to protect it while I just jam it up. Here we go. I think I bent my quill here. That's why I have that tapping sound, but it's fine. I'm just trying to figure out the foot right now. This is where it's going to dish in. Need that edge there to sit flat. What I'm checking here is the flatness to make sure that it sits level. Ooh. Just took a chunk out of it. Well, that's the sandpaper's work. No, that's still pretty thick there, but I'd rather not take down any more. Fairly happy with that. Let's sand this up. At this point, the process is about the same as the outside. Sand it all the way up to 600 using the power sander and the dust collection system to gather the sanding dust. All I have left is this little nib, what was used for the tailstock support. Just use a saw to cut it as flush as I can. Then I just use a sander to sand it all flat and make it disappear. All that's left is to sign the work and apply a finish. I typically just wood burn my last name into the bowl, as well as the type of wood that it is. Everyone always asks who made it and what kind of wood it is, so that's why I put that in there. As for a finish, I go for just a simple utilitarian walnut finish. It leaves like a satin shine on it. Really protective. This stuff is food safe, so it's great if you want to use a bowl for salad or whatever. And I've had really good luck with it. I am super pleased with how this bowl turned out. It is gorgeous with the heartwood and the sapwood. I'm very happy. As for the shop, it worked pretty much as I would have hoped for. There were some small issues like organization and camera shots, but that's expected in a brand new shop. Other than that, it's time to get creative in here and start making some cool stuff. So, as always, thanks for watching and have fun.